Hey there, thanks for joining me to color. Today we're going to be working on this super cute Crafter's Companion image called Friends Forever. Aren't they cute? I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, I stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound Solar Bright cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, so let's color. So let's start out by giving our image an outline. For that, I'm going to use C0. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to go completely around the outside of all of my lines. I like to add the shadow around the outside so that it looks a little bit dimensional, not quite so flat. And let's do inside here too. And I'm going to fill in between the stool legs. Let's do this side. And let's go up here and finish up here at the top. I'm also going to fill in between the ice cream and the little elephants. Go back down here. If I do this first, I don't have to worry about pulling any of the color off of stuff into my background, which I would do, as I don't be that careful. And let's see, there's a little bit of space here in between the backs of the chairs. And this side over here, and that's a bow, so don't color that. Next, let's work on the stool legs and the table base. For that, we're going to use W10, 8, 6, and 4. I'm going to start with my W10. Let's start on this side over here. We also want to do the bottoms. Let's do underneath of the stool. Then we're going to add W8. So touch down on top of your W10 and flick down away from your W10. This one, I think I will do it just a little bit right along this edge. Then I'm going to do W6. I'm going to fill in this back one. Oops, I forgot to do that one up there. Let me grab the W8 and add a little bit to this one up here. And then we'll do W6 again for up here. Then we're going to add W4. We'll fill these the rest of the way in, and the bottom, the little legs. And we're going to just go do the other leg. So grab your W10 again. And then we'll add W6, or no, sorry, W8. And I'm going to fill in this top section. On this bottom one. Oops, I forgot to do those middle ones. We'll get those when we do the table there. Now let's do W6. So I'm going to fill in this section up here at the top and this back leg. And then we're going to fill in the rest of that with our W4. And the table leg bottoms. And then we'll do those center ones when we do this table base here. So let's do W10. Since I forgot those. And up here. And let's see. And then I'm going to color these little center sections red. So I'm going to skip those, but let's do a little dab down the center here of each of these little spacers. And then I'm going to use this color to color in, let's see, did I do this? I did a little bit of a line on this. Like that. Just to darken that line up a little bit. And then I'm going to go with W8. up here. Then we're going to add W6. And then we'll fill the rest in with our W4. And we'll do the bottom down here. Let's do the stools they are sitting on next. For that, we're going to use R89, 37, and 05. I'm going to start with my R89. Do a little dab underneath of their body, and then over like this. And then for this one over here, let's pull away from her dress and go underneath of her shoe. And then I'm going to add our 37. And then we're going to fill it in with our R05. Let's hop down here and do this red at the bottom of the table base. So again, we'll start with our R89. R37. And then our R05 to fill that in. Okay, let's go up here and we'll do the backs of the chairs. For that, we're going to use Y28, 26, and 23. We'll finish the red stuff again later. So we're going to start with our Y28. And let's do this little stool over here first. Got a little dab of color. And we'll hop over here and we'll do this one. Then we're going to add Y26. And I like to go over the top of my Y28, give this a little bit more gold color. And we'll do this side. And then we're going to fill those in with our Y23. So now let's do the tablecloth. For that, we're going to use E50 for the tablecloth and R37 for the heart. We're going to start with our E50. And I didn't really color it too much. I went down the side here and gave a little bit of color coming up from the elephant. And then I brushed over these lines that were already here. Like that. And then I'm going to pull this line. I'm going to add one over here on this side and bring it down the side on this side and make it a little bit wider. Just give it the hint of some color there. And then I filled in this little heart with my R37. And it's pretty dinky, so I'm just going to kind of dab it. Let's do the elephants next. For those, we're going to use C6, 4, and 2. And we're going to start with our C6. Let's start on this cutie on this side. A little bit on her leg. A little bit on her arm. And then for her face, let's do, she's got a little bit of a curl on her nose there, on her trunk. So let's bring this down over here to her ear. And then we do a little dab on the bottom of her ear and the back of her head. And I'm going to bring this up just a little bit. Then I want to add C4. And I'm going to touch down on top of my C6. And I'm going to brush right up onto her leg, soften that edge. And I'll do the same thing for her arm. And then her face. She's got a little crease right here in her face, so I'm going to bring it up here to where her nose attaches to her, or she's got a little spot there on her head, so it's got a little bit of shadow there. And then we want to fill it in with our C2. Brush down towards the dark and kind of smush it all together. And we'll hop over here and do this other cutie. So I'm going to again start with my C6. And I'm going to do her leg first. And then her arm. And she's kind of got her arm bent right here, so I'm going to give it a little bit of a dab of color in that little crease. And we'll do her ear. Then we want to add C4. Oops, a little too far on that one. I'll go around this little flower. And then we're going to fill it in with our C2. I'm going to go backwards towards the dark so I can kind of push that all back down towards the bottom. And a little bit on her leg right here. For inside their ears, I'm going to fill them in with my R30. Nothing too fancy. Next, let's work on this little girl's outfit over here. So for her dress stripes, we're going to use R89, 37, 05. The alternate stripes, we're going to use W00. And then this little flower up here's got a center. I'm going to color that with my Y23, and I'm going to do that right now so I don't forget. Nothing fancy, just give it a little dab. And then let's do the alternate stripes with our W00. And for that, let's see, let's pick a stripe. And I didn't do anything fancy, I'm just going to kind of swoosh the top of each stripe. So let's go white, red, red. I just want to skip every other one. And then I made this one white. I just want to give them a little bit of a shadow. And then down here, let's see, we got, this is red. Let's do this one white. White. Nothing too fancy with that. And then we're going to add R89. And let's do our little flower up here. So I did the close to the center with my R89, just a little dab. And then each of these stripes down here, I'm going to give it a little bit. And then I made, let's see, I made this this one red. And then I left the little buttons on the back of her dress white. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to skip the little button one here and then do this one. It's hard to remember which one I did. Okay, and then for her shoe, I'm going to do a little dab on the little sole there, or on the strap, and then we're going to come around from the back, and I want to bring this all the way around to the front, like that. And then we're going to grab R37, and let's add a little bit to our shoe. And then we have to add some to our stripes. That one's pretty much filled in, so I'm just going to fill that in. They're kind of small. Oops. Whoops. I hold my pin up a little bit fat, a little bit more straight. And then I'm going to grab R05 to fill them in the rest of the way. And I left the little button on her shoe white also. Little bit on her dress, and then I'm going to finish up this little flower in her hair, or on her head, because she doesn't really have hair. She's got that one little spot there. I'm going to take my W0 or W00 and add a little bit of shadow to the sock right here and the sole of her shoe. I'm going to say this is sock over here and the sole of her shoe. Let's go do this dress next. So for the body of the dress, I'm going to use E44, 43, and 42. I'm going to start with my E44. And let's see. Let's go right along the bottom of her sleeve. And then over here, we're going to go right along this seam. And she's got a little bit of flowers there, so I'm going to try not to color those. And then down here, let's go below this flower. And a little bit up here by this table. And then there's a wrinkle right here, so I'm going to do that. And then, let's see, down here, let's see, that looks like a leaf. So kind of go around that. And then over here to her fanny. And then, oh, we want to also use this on her shoe. So let's do a little bit down here. And did I color this buckle? I colored that a different color. And then let's do a little bit right across the center of that sole of her shoe. Then I'm going to add E43. And then we're going to kind of go around the flower up here on her dress. Add a little bit more color. Guess we could have, whoops, I think that was part of the flower. Nope, that wasn't flower. I'm going to say this is not flower right here. Could have colored the flowers first, and then you wouldn't have to worry about those, so you'd be able to see them a little bit better. And let's see, make that a leaf. That. And then we're going to fill it in with our E42. So fill in this little strap for her shoe. Let's do the roses next. So I'm going to use R89 and R05 and for the little bow in her hair. I'm going to start with my R89. And let's do, and I didn't worry about these little dots that are on her bow in her hair because I went later and filled them in with my colorless blender. Okay, then we're going to go, I'm just going to give each of these flowers a little swirl of color. That. Then I'm going to grab R05 to fill those in. Same with the bow up here. Like I said, I did my Sharpie white paint pen and I just put those little dots on her bow back in there later. Okay, so for these, we're just going to fill these flowers in. That. And then for the leaves, we're going to use G99 and 21. And we're also going to use this for the bow, so we're going to start with G99. And then she's got a little ruffle right here, so let's color that in a little bit. And then she's got some bows, so let's do this bow. Whoops, I think that was supposed to be back, and this was supposed to be bow up here. Right here, but I guess we're gonna make it, this is a bow and that's a bow. And then we get, oh, I forgot the sole of her shoe right here. Let me grab, I'll finish that in a second. So let's do G21 for the fill in the rest. that. And then let me grab E43 and we'll do, this is the bottom of her shoe over here. Fill that in. Let's do this ice cream glass next. For that, we're going to use V20 and W00. I'm going to start with my V20. And for that, I just used these lines in the center and just kind of gave them a little bit of a swirl up and back and forth. And then same down here at the bottom. Nothing too complicated. And then I filled it in with my W00. That. And let's do the ice creams up here. So let's do E50 first. Whoops. And for that, I'm going to color this bottom one in. You can color yours whichever ones you want. But I didn't do anything fancy. I just colored that in. Oh, and I forgot. I better give this whipped cream over here just a little bit of some shadow lines. Just a couple in there. And then let's do a chocolate ice cream. So let's do E44 and 43. So I'm going to start with the E44. And then E43. Whoops, I shouldn't have put that away. I need that still. Color that. And I'm also going to do these straws. And I also want to do this little stick right here. So let's do E44. I forgot about it. Whatever that is, piece of cone, the spoon. And then this is E43 to fill it in. Okay, for the strawberry ice cream, let's do R05 and R22. And then R22 for that. Then we're going to do this little umbrella up here. So I'm going to do R89, 37, 5, and 22, and a little cherry. So let's do R89 first. And then for my little umbrella, let's do... And again, I'm not too worried about those dots because I'm going to come back later and put those back in. And then we'll do R37. And then R05. I'm going to fill this little cherry in. And the top of my umbrella. And then I'm going to do R22 for underneath the umbrella, for the bottom. Oh, we got that little stick right there. Let's do that the same as we did the straws with our E43. It doesn't look like I gave any kind of ground on there. I must have forgot that. So let's do that with our C0. Since I didn't color the bottom of these stools, let's do... right across the bottom here. Give it a little bit of a shadow. So there's our adorable Friends Forever all colored up. Didn't they turn out super, super cute? And then again, here is my finished card. So on my finished card, I did oh, my Sharpie white paint pen to, oh no, I didn't. I did my Uniball white gel pen to put the dots on the little bow back on the umbrella. And then I also used it to add some little lines and stuff to these little stool legs and the table, some little accents. And right down here on this red, I put some little swirls down there too. Something a little different. And then I also, this time, the stamp didn't stamp as clear as I'd like it to, so I took my Copic multi-liner in 0.2 black and just re-outlined the images, because the lines weren't as crisp as I thought it would be, and it's just the way the stamp is. And then you have the little sentiment also comes in the kit with the stamp set, and I stamped mine with some Versamark, and then I heat embossed it with some Wow Opaque Bright White Superfine Embossing Powder. So it's really white. So everything on the card is flat except for the little sentiment here. And you also get, in your kit, you get these little giant brads. And what I did is I put the whole front of the card together, and then I put the brads through the little holes that are in this tag. And then I attached it to the front of the card base. And actually I've popped up the whole thing here is popped up off the front of the card base, but that way, because the backs of these brads are pretty large and they were going to stick out past this tag, so they're behind this whole section back here. And the brads, you may get these striped ones or you may get something else, but they all match the paper. So I hope you had fun coloring with me. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.